When these dads meet world, watching Boy Meets World. We grew up on the show, now we have kids and host a podcast. We watch each episode and then share our thoughts and grades. When these dads meet world.
Like, watch her take the rolls.
Welcome back to Dads Meet World. We're doing a season recap for you, or our report card is what we refer to this type of episode. We're doing this at a different time than we normally record, so things are a little different on my end because I have sun glaring into me. But Brett, your studio's in your basement, so it doesn't look like anything's different for you. But other than the fact that it's a bright sunny day right now, Brett, how are you?
I'm doing all right. It's cold here, so yeah. Beginning of January. Well, middle of January now, yeah. Yeah,
it's crazy.
I was just telling Tyler off mic I had to go out yesterday and hit the turnpike and to do some shooting photos, not anything else. Photos for my day job, and it all went pretty smoothly, except for I walked outside to get a photo or two, and it was so cold it turned my camera off. And then coming back, good-looking people, there's a benefit to having old manual windows, because when the cold it gets too cold, your motorized windows cannot want to go up, because when I got back on the turnpike to come home, I got through the toll booth and the window did not want to go back up, and so the first 5 miles of my trip back home were quite cold until I managed to get the window closed.
Yeah.
How are things going for you, Tyler?
Well, I was going to say to you that the Equinox we used to have, we started to have trouble towards the end, where I literally would have to grab the window and start pulling it, and then eventually the motor would kick in and then take it up. So
I tried that on
not
the
very
on-ramp.
fun. So it's not really fun when both of the passenger and the driver's side would do that, and then I'd have both of them open. So you have to pull over and make sure both of them go up, and yeah, not good. No, I'm good. I worked last night, my third shift job, so I am in an odd spot. Honestly, once we're done here, I'm going to sleep. But this is the only time when my house would not have my children in it, so I knew this would be a quiet time for us to get done what we need to get done here. And so yeah, but I've been re-listening to some of our old episodes, Brett, and the joy we used to have when we would get together and do this. And by gum, Brett, I'm excited once again to do a season recap with you. These are really fun for us just to kind of reflect as a whole for the season of where we are. And Brett, we've done 3 seasons.
Indeed.
It's kind of bonkers.
It is. We are almost halfway through the series.
I can't believe it. So, do you want to do our grades and look at
I do indeed. I am going to share my screen with you so you can see.
I was curious how this is going to work this time around. Maybe.
All right.
Oh.
Can you see what I'm showing?
Something? I see it. It's quite small, but...
All right.
Can I increase
All right,
the size?
so this is the breakdown of all the episodes. Our grading breakdown. And for good-looking people, I'll superimpose this on the final cut. But broke it down by all of our...
there we go.
All of our episode by episode. And in the final grade... Tyler, you gave this season an A-, 91%. And
Yep.
I came in with a B+ at an 88.6%. Yes.
Well, it helped that I didn't give 2 Ds or 2 Fs this go around.
That does. Although you did give one C minus minus.
Yeah, that's right.
Right there for truth and consequences. And there was one asterisk for the double lie. I don't remember what the asterisk was for, though.
I think there was something that just made us really uncomfortable. I think the whole Sean date made us uncomfortable, but you gave it an A? Oh, you gave it a B. I still wanted to give the credit to that episode for what it was, so that's why I think I probably gave it an asterisk, because I loved the episode. It was really good, but it did creep me out as far as the things that were happening for Sean and what he was going to potentially do alone in an apartment all by himself with a female. So
that makes sense.
I think those implications were the things that made me give it an asterisk, but still a great episode. I mean, there's not really a bad episode to this season, honestly.
Yeah, not bad. Just kind of a high ick factor at times.
Yeah, no, the ick factor was much higher this season, but I think we both agree that we wouldn't hold it against them. My face.
Yeah,
it's too much.
Yeah, and here is a visual depiction of how the season went for your grades. You can see started off very strong, took an early dip, and then a couple of spikes, and then finished very strong.
Yeah, I think a lot of the stuff with him and Topanga, it just never always made sense of why they would do the things they would do and the way they portray them as a couple. Probably is why I dipped for so long, because as much as I love their relationship, like, I just don't think they knew what to do with them. Mm-hmm. But also, I think,
and it was
around that dipping point. I was gonna say, around that dipping point, we weren't seeing as much of Alan and Amy also, and that's part of the problem too. I think we both had. So
yeah, and it was very common, and in a way, kind of is that within TV writing, once you get a couple together, it's very difficult to write for them, because the drama, that the will they won't they is all of a sudden gone, and so the excitement's gone for some reason. So here's mine. Well, not as strong as a start, but it's like a heartbeat.
I say, there's always a progression for mine. There is no progression for you. It is always up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Like,
my highs and lows are very much all over the place, but they're if you take these, you can chart an upswing, though, especially from the second half of the season.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah, but they definitely did. I mean,
go ahead.
On the whole, I mean, it's a B+ season. It's a high B+ season for me. But I mean, it definitely it finished strong, and I do love the season. It was a rough start, and in this early going, once they got them together, I was in the same kind of boat where it just they didn't seem to know what they were doing with them. Because you see, when we put them all together, there are so many heads together,
and we're snuggling. Yes.
Yes. There's a lot that we are pretty close on, if not identical on, especially at the end there. Mm-hmm. And note,
I mean,
with the exception of one, our lowest are the same, with the exception of one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so, good-looking people.
Yeah,
those
I
are
think
our
this is
grades
very
and our
accurate
grade breakdowns.
Right. Well, I was gonna say, like, I feel like last season we had kind of a dip in enjoyment at points in the actual episodes we were doing, and twice last season we went this is going to be a quick record. Yep. And we just like bullied through because we were like, we hate this episode. We want to get this over with, and we don't want to talk about it. So
Yeah.
But this season, like, I kept feeling like every time we would hop on, there was always something good for us to talk about. Like, it never felt like we were dying for stuff to talk about within the episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there really wasn't any old man Tyler that came through this season.
No, not very much. There was a little bit of grumpy Brett, but not too much.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit of grumpy Brett at times, but no old man Tyler, really.
No. Well, season 4 is an interesting season, that's for sure. So we'll see what happens. I think season 4 has a little bit more of ups and downs than this season, for sure.
Yeah, there's some big swings and some big misses.
Yeah. You were saying before we got started you had some keep 'em or leave 'em?
I do have one keep trade cut, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So there weren't a whole lot of pranks or schemes that came into play this year. But
Yeah.
I'm going to throw 3 out there for you.
Okay.
I'm going to throw out the boys snaking Feeney's cabin.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to throw out Sean and, to an extent, Topanga's plan to get Corey and Topanga together.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to throw out the scheme to keep Corey a hero. Keep, trade, cut. Which one do you keep? Which one do you trade? Which one do you cut?
For me, it is a classic episode when they go to Feeney's cabin. So I'm keeping that one for sure. I think there's more value in the scheme to get Corey and Topanga together. So I think if we trade that away, someone else can do a little better and get something more value returned, for that. And honestly, the hero episode can just go away and never come back. Like, I don't even know why they made that episode. Yeah, that's where I stand. Where do you stand on this, Brett?
That's exactly my breakdown. Yeah.
Fair. Well, what if we did a quick... What do you think was the high point of this season, Brett? Whether it's in the Dads Meet World canon or just in the Boy Meets World, us watching this season. What was a high for you?
A high? I'll say for a high, it was seeing an arc for Eric. And not just seeing him as kind of a cardboard older brother or just a goofy B plot, but seeing an actual arc for him develop. And getting to see him develop a passion, getting to see him have a drive to go to college, and seeing that not necessarily realized, but seeing him decide to find, in the finale, seeing it not realized and seeing him find a new goal. But I'd say seeing that arc develop.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, I
What's a
agree
high point
completely.
for you?
I mean, in the show Boy Meets World, I think it was just that realization of that 4-episode arc at the end of the reset, and just the I don't know if it truly was intentional, but it really was these 3 special episodes following when he has that dream where it really focuses in on his relationship with Sean, his relationship with Topanga, his relationship with his brother, and just where each of them end, and then also where the show ends this season, is really helping to set things up for next season, having a new start in a good way. And if I hadn't watched this show, it gives me excitement of, well, what type of relationship will Corey and his brother have now that they have a whole summer together? I know the answer because we've watched this show a lot, but if I was tuning in, if I was one of the 12 million that watched the season finale, I would have been so curious as like, what is this season going to be like next year, and what are the shenanigans they're going to get into? So, and we know what shenanigans they're going to get into, and we can't wait to talk about them.
Yeah.
So, now I will say, on a high note for our show together, though, is I really feel like we've figured out how to have the girls on the podcast without them feeling like it's taking up so much of their time. Because I loved the first time we got together and we all recorded together, but as much fun as the girls had at the end, getting them to actually participate and feel comfortable took a lot of time. And I think now they kind of have this almost memory of like, okay, they're going to ask us specific questions, we're going to talk about those questions, and then we're going to go, are we done? Can we be done now? We're done, right? And then we'll just go, yes, go away. So yeah. I think the fact that we figured out how to have them on, and I do want us to get back next season into having some other guest stars and, seeing different people that have different expertises that we can pull from. I do have someone in mind pretty quickly in season 4, by the way. So, yeah, I would love to get our teacher extraordinaire back. Her being pregnant again doesn't help her very much. So,
yes, that would tend to be a little bit.
Yeah, a little much, a little crazy. So yeah. So.
Excellent. Yeah. Yeah. I say.
And I don't know about you, but I still enjoy. Sorry, go ahead.
I would say those are high points for me as well, especially with figuring out how to get the wives in a good chunk there, and not have to have them expect to be on board the whole time and be able to get in, hit their mark, and leave, so to speak. If only we could have that work with Kelly and not her be sick.
Yeah, well, I just remember last season Kelly just sitting there and not being able to sit there and just talk to Sarah the whole time and just being miserable behind you, and knowing that we have to make an adjustment in order to make this work. So, well, Brett, would you like to get to my little bracket that I've made up?
Of course.
All right. I'll say it's going to take a little bit, so I figured it'd be helpful if we just kind of get into it, and then if there's anything else we want to talk about afterwards, I know we technically have our final grade, but if there's anything we want to reminisce more about, or anything we felt we learned overall, or whatever else we want to talk about right at the end, we can. But so Brett, each time we've done these season recaps, we've done like kind of going through all of the bad things that the boys have done and figuring out of the bad things what is a worse thing, or how would our parents respond to it, so on and so forth. And so I kind of wanted to take all of the things from the last 3 seasons and put it all into one bracket, and then have us decide what is the worst thing that anyone has done on this show so far. So the way that it'll work is primarily I will let you be the arbiter of what moves forward. However, if I disagree with you, then it'd be nice for us to have a little discussion. And then if we want to reassess, then we can. And we'll just kind of see how this goes.
All right.
All right, Brett. So I've divided this up similar to the March Madness bracket, just with not as many participants. So these are in no real particular order other than the number one seed in each of the brackets, okay? And it's all divvied up into roughly Corey, Sean, Eric, adults. Now, some of the Sean and Eric will also include things that Corey is involved with. I don't have everything, and even some of the stuff I wrote down, I didn't add into it, and some of the stuff that I wasn't going to write down initially, I wrote down. So, and we can adjust these if as need be and give clarification, so, because I don't know if you know this, Brett, but sometimes we learn the same things over and over again, and yet we're still so stupid. Like, several times I put, like, multiple times, 2 times, and I was like, okay, this is redundant. So, starting in the Corey bracket, Brett, I will let you know that the number one seed in this bracket, and it has a bye for the first round, is lied about sleeping with Topanga. In the classic episode where Turner decides to let them use cameras to go around and talk to the school about, their thoughts on sex. Corey and Topanga were caught in a compromising position where Corey decided that he was going to let people think that, he was the man. So, yes. So I thought that was worthy of being the top seed for us, and also the last time we did a bracket similar to this, it was the top one. So I figured you'd have no complaint about that. So our first head-to-head competition, Brett. I'm gonna have to bring this closer to me. I can't read it. Listening to a baseball game. That's from the pilot. He gets caught listening to a baseball game, or hiding mail from his brother, which he did in the last episode that we did. So, Brett, what's worse in your opinion? Listening to a baseball game and then, of course, getting detention, or hiding mail from your brother that he's been waiting for?
I'm going to go with hiding mail from your brother.
That's fair. Yeah, I mean, that's something that his brother is waiting for, and he shouldn't have done it, but he did. Kind of
life-changing stuff.
It is. Let's see.
Not that I'm condoning listening to a baseball game during class.
Right. Not that you're condoning that, but as far as what's worse, I agree. Caught cheating on a non-graded test. This is from season 1, when Corey gets the answers to an IQ test and makes everyone think that he's some sort of genius. Or changing his identity for popularity. This is in reference to when he joins the wrestling team and becomes a jock or a goon. All right, who started it, Matthews? This goon. So, Brett, what's worse?
I'm going to go with
cheating? Yep.
I'm going with the identity.
Yeah. Honestly, a lot of the stuff from the first season don't hold up the further we get into it.
In the words of Eric, it's a baby scam.
Yeah, that's very true. All right, Brett. This will be an interesting one, I think. Calls a friend a slur. This is in reference to the episode when in Teacher's Bet, when Corey and Feeney switch, and Corey is trying to help his students to understand Anne Frank in the story, and he calls Sean a phrase that I'm not going to repeat here, but Sean's ready to get into a fight over it. So, and it was an educational moment, but still, Corey used a slur against arguably his best friend. So, now, is that worse, or kissing a girl who's not his girlfriend, or being kissed in Corey's Last Temptation? What's her face? Missy Robinson kisses him. So, is that worse, Brett, or is the slur worse?
I'm going to go with Missy Robinson only because the slur was used in proving a point to get Sean's attention.
Agreed. All right, Brett. Lied about being a hero in reference to when he made a fire in the chemistry classroom, and then he put it out. Thus, the school labeled him a hero. Or scuba diving without permission. He was told very specifically, you never go into the water scuba diving by yourself. He also left his home and his brother/friend covered for him so he could go do this. So, Brett, what's worse, the scuba diving or lying about being a hero?
I'm going to go with scuba diving. He could have died.
He could have. It is not a wise choice for him doing that. So I fully agree with that. Like, he might be the most riskiest thing he does in the first season.
Yeah.
Also, there are toys in there that have not been cleaned up. It's very alarming.
No.
All right. Last one, Brett, in the first round of the Corey bracket. We have quit school commitment. This is in reference to when he is casted as the lead character for the play in the first season, and he quitteth. Or asking out a girl to keep up with his friends. Now, this happens twice, Brett. Once in season 1, he asks out Topanga to keep up with Sean, and his parents rightfully call him out on it. And in the second season, Corey asks out Wendy without knowing her name or anything about her because Eric said, just ask out any girl. Any girl? Any girl. So...
yeah, I'm going to go with asking out a girl.
Yep. Now, Brett, would you like to move on to another bracket, or would you like to complete the Corey bracket while you're focused on these ones and then move on to the next ones after that?
Let's complete the Corey bracket.
That's fair. I had a feeling you'd prefer that. So, all right.
Yeah.
Let's go back up to the top, I guess. So, what's worse, Brett? Hiding mail from your brother, or changing your identity to become popular?
I'm going to stick with hiding mail from your brother.
But Brett, who started the fight? This goon. I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, but
hiding
still,
the mail
and here's the thing too. I mean, it's you could go either way, but with hiding mail and good-looking people, two important things to remember with hiding mail. One, you're directly impacting someone else because you're stealing from them, and you're technically committing you're technically committing a felony by taking someone else's mail.
Yeah. It's almost like in It's a Wonderful Life when the guy who has all the money holds on to someone else's money when he shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Brett, what's worse? Corey kissing/being kissed by another girl that's not his girlfriend, or scuba diving without permission?
That one gets tough.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to stick with scuba diving because he could have died.
Yeah, fair. Well, and that's the thing is like, is his choice to stay near a girl who's clearly hitting on him, who's not his girlfriend, horrible, or the fact that he did something that was super dangerous and he really could have hurt himself?
Yeah. I mean, tough either way, but ultimately he could have died.
Scuba dooba. I walked into that.
Something creepy under boat, Andy.
All right, Brett, we have another interesting one here. So we have asking out a girl to keep up with friends, or lied about sleeping with Topanga.
See, they both harm girls. I'm gonna go with gonna go with lying about sleeping with Topanga. It drags her reputation through the mud. I mean, they both harm other girls, but this one has longer lasting impact.
It does, and that's the thing, is it's arguably one of the worst things he's ever done, and still amazing that they were able to maintain a friendship. So, all right, Brett, hiding mail or scuba diving without permission?
Oh, now we get into the real tough stuff. Committing federal offense or potentially killing oneself. I think this is where scuba diving exits. I'm going to stick with mail fraud.
All right, Brett, then we can go right into the next one. Hiding mail or lying about sleeping with Topanga.
Ooh, they both impact someone else directly. They both leave a mark that could last. Ooh. I think lying about sleeping with Topanga still beats it, though.
Agreed.
I mean, that one's very public. It drags someone else's reputation through the mud, and in the real world, that lasts probably for life.
Yeah. Unless you marry him, Brett.
Very true.
He needs to be
Season
thankful
2
that he's
Corey
with a
was
very
horrible.
forgetful person. Yeah. By far the worst version of Corey is season 2. You don't know why, Brett? Because he was a jock. All right. So let's stick with the Matthews and let's go to the Eric bracket.
All right.
Now, I will say the Eric bracket is a little more complicated because a lot of his stuff tends to, it tends to be like a funny, humorous thing. So, like, a lot of them tend to climb together, and sometimes there's a little bit of dramaticness, but it's not so over the top that it's, dangerous, illegal, all that jazz. So, what I put as the number 1 seed, and maybe this isn't the right thing to do, but this is what I put, and that's helping brother go to Florida and covering. So I'm putting that right now as number 1, and there's always a chance that it's going to get topped, and that's okay. So for our first in the Eric division, we have quits job without notice. This is when he decides to become a model because the lady at the mall recognizes talent in him and wants him to be a model, and he decides to full-blown quit his job because he has no time for regular jobs. He's
super
beautiful. Yes. Don't hate me because I'm beautiful. Is that worse, Brett, or screening a inappropriate movie at the school? And that, of course, is reference to the first episode this season when they try to show a horror movie.
I'm going to go with screening the inappropriate movie. There's more people impacted by that.
Ooh, interesting. I did not see that coming.
Yeah. I didn't either. But,
I'm fine with it. I just didn't see that one coming.
Yeah. I mean, it really, it impacts the market giant and everything, but, you can promote someone up to his position and you can hire, he eventually gets hired back into the lower position. So, it's kind of a cycle there. But, and, he gets taught a lesson in the end, but, you're impacting a larger crowd there.
True. What's worse, Brett? Saying I love you to a girl that you don't know the last name. Reference to when Corey starts saying I love you to Topanga, and he's like a little canary, and Eric now feels he must say I love you. Is that worse, Brett, or trying to quit school for a news job?
That one's tough. I'm gonna go with the news job. I mean, it's
Yep.
because it wound up. He lost everything because he was overly committed to the wrong thing, and he didn't have. He was out of balance.
Yep. He put his sole focus on the thing that A, didn't pay him, and B, he only had because he was a student. So
Yep.
no student.
He got rid of the one
no
thing that let him
internship.
have the second thing.
Yep. All right, Brett. What's worse, him lying about getting his license and then taking his parents' car to go on a date, or following a parent around town without them knowing it and thinking that their parent was cheating?
I'm gonna go with lying about the license.
Yep. Yeah. And that, of course, is when Jason convinces him that the girls going on a date is more important than if he has his license or not.
Oh yes, and being honest with his parents.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, I didn't realize as I was setting this up, but this is going to be a nice, fun one for you, Brett. So what's worse, Brett? Getting caught with a girl in his parents' bed, or getting revealed that he planned both a rave and anniversary party at the same time and date and place?
Both painful and hurtful to parents.
Mm-hmm. So, Good Looking People, the caught in the bed is from season 2, when a girl asks Eric to show her around, and they end up in their bed and they're just making out. Corey catches them. Corey eventually reveals to his parents of what happened. And of course, the rave on is from the anniversary episode for his parents, when his legacy is more important to him than his celebrating his parents. So, Brett, which one is a worse crime against the parents?
Oh man, they're both horrible crimes against parents.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with getting caught with the girl, if only because if Corey hadn't walked in, that would have been really bad.
Yeah. No, I agree completely. It's one thing to not appreciate your parents' anniversary and to be oblivious to it. It's another thing to outright disrespect them and take someone into their bedroom, especially a girl, to make out with her.
Yep.
All right. Cheating on a test so he can go to Europe, or using his sister to pick up chicks. Now, Good Looking People, there's not a
cheating on a
specific.
test.
Yeah, I was like, there's not specific indications of when the times he's done it, but they have a bit of a routine. So, although we do see it in the episode where Grandma comes and visits, so cheating on the test it is. All right, let's go backwards this time, because why not? So, Brett, what's worse in your mind? Eric cheating on a test so he can go to Europe, or helping his brother / covering for his brother going to Florida?
Covering for his brother to go to Florida.
Yep.
No first round exit for them.
Yeah, I had a feeling. All right, so Brett, what's worse? Screening a inappropriate movie at school, or quitting school for a news job?
I'm gonna stick with quitting for the news job.
I had a feeling. So, Brett, what's worse? Lying about getting your license to take out a couple pretty girls, or being caught with a pretty girl in your parents' bed?
Ooh, this is probably the toughest one of the whole bracket. I'm going to go with lying about the license. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of things that could have gone wrong out on that road.
Yeah. With that said, do not take random people into your parents' bedrooms.
No. And the only reason that I chose this one over that is because he didn't actually even get to take his test, so we have no clue what kind of a driver he was.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is that he could have seriously endangered other people.
Yes.
So, taking a vehicle that you don't have the right to take is not a good thing, people. So, Brett, what's worse, him lying about having his license so he can take out a couple of cute girls, or quitting school so he can focus on a news job?
Lying about the license.
Yep. So, Brett, is it worse to lie about the license or covering for his brother going to Florida?
Now, good-looking people, simply because of the potential for collateral damage, lying about the license.
No, I agree completely. Yes. No, I mean, technically his brother could have gotten hurt, and yes, he understood that probably, but it literally endangering someone's life, or many people's lives, depending upon what happens, is not a wise thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't disagree with that whatsoever. This is where it's going to get interesting, because this is Sean's bracket now, Brett. So I have as his number one pick, blowing up a mailbox.
I knew Cherry Bomb Day was going to be the number one seed.
Yep. And that is reference to The Fugitive, where Sean puts a cherry bomb into a mailbox, blows it up, and then he stows away at the Matthews household. So, and one of the reasons why this is so high is A, illegality, but also the fact that he ran away from his family and was at a place that then also incriminated Corey in the situation too. So Brett, is it worse that Sean pulls a prank on Mr. Feeney, calling him Weenie, or sneaking a girl to his teacher / his apartment alone? So, to clarify,
I'm gonna go
is it worse pranking principal or taking a girl to this apartment?
I'm going to go with trying to sneak the girl back to his apartment.
Yep.
15-year-olds are not supposed to be taking girls back to their own empty apartment, as Mr. Turner says.
Yep. And remember, we're dads. That's why we're very firm on these things. All right, Brett, what's worse? Sean trying to run away to Texas or Europe, or being
Paris.
caught with a spray can. Getting caught with a spray can outside the school. This is a reference to the end of season 2, when he is out, chasing the moon, and apparently he stumbles onto other people, and then he stumbles at Mr. Turner's apartment. So, Brett, what's worse?
I'm going to go with chasing the moon. He was openly trying to vandalize and falling with the wrong crowd versus when he was trying to find himself when he was going to Paris.
Yep, I agree. What's worse, Brett? Getting caught on Mr. Turner's bike, or walking out of class in protest.
Oh, getting caught on Turner's bike.
Fair. All right. So what's worse? Decorating Feeney's house with toilet paper and whatnot, or getting into a fight with your best friend, like a fist fight.
Give that one to me again, because it got lost there in a glitch.
Oh, that's okay. So what's worse? Decorating Mr. Feeney's house, which is what happens in season 3, with the whole test situation, or getting into a fist fight with your best friend, which happens in Pink Flamingo Kid.
Well, he says he wasn't there at Feeney's house.
I thought he was. Or
No,
he
he
just knew
says he
about
wasn't there. He knew he knew it was going to happen. It says wasn't there.
All right. Well, let's go with he knew that Mr. Feeney's house was going to get decorated and didn't do anything to stop it.
Okay, so he knew it wasn't there. He knew it was going to happen. I'm going to go with he knew it was going to happen because he didn't do anything to stop it.
Yep. All right. And last one of the first round, Brett. Convinced a friend to break up with a girlfriend, or when he got janitor Bud fired.
Ooh, breaking up 2 different relationships. I'm
Yep.
going to go with breaking up the girlfriend because janitor Bud needed to be fired.
Yeah, janitor Bud was making poor choices.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, but no,
Dun,
and we did
dun,
talk about this
dun.
very openly that Corey and Topanga were in a way fine, but Corey or Sean and Eric are the ones that push him to do it. So, oh, okay. So what's worse, Brett? Taking a girl back to an apartment, or getting caught with spray paint at the front of the school?
Girl back to the apartment.
Yep. So then what's worse, Brett? Getting caught on Turner's bike, or knowing that Mr. Feeney's house is going to get decorated?
Turner's bike.
Yep, fair. All right. And, of course, breaking up Corey and Topanga, or convincing your friend to break up with his girlfriend, or Cherry Bomb.
As much as I hate to see him break up 2 people, Cherry Bomb Day.
Yeah. If you had said breaking up Corey and Topanga, I was going to veto that because that's ridiculous. All right, then, Brett. What's worse?
You blew up a mailbox.
Sneaking a girl back to Mr. Turner's apartment, or getting caught on Turner's motorcycle, which is a worse offense to Turner?
My gut wants to go with sneaking the girl back, but honestly, stealing Turner's bike is probably the right answer here because he stole the bike, he operated it without a license, he really could have hurt or killed himself and other people.
Yep.
So I'm going with
And Turner
bike.
would have been responsible.
Exactly. So that's what this is all
So,
about.
Brett, what's worse? Stealing Turner's bike and getting caught on it, or Cherry Bomb Day?
No, Cherry Bomb Day still has to win.
Yeah. So far, all of our top seeds are in the final 4. So,
All right, no upsets.
and now we will conclude. I think with the most fun of the bracket because it inflates to any and all the adults. So it could be a parenting thing, could be a teacher thing. So teach me about her.
Who dat?
Yeah, she's pretty. So I have here as our number one seed, Brett, as parents not being around. That could include the Matthewses kind of disappearing and not really being involved in Corey's situation, or, Verna and Chet literally driving away from.
I said Chet.
Yeah, them not being around. So, and also, I'm just gonna say it: the Lawrences being emotionally separated as well, because clearly something's not in the right spot for them. But so here we go. What's worse, Brett? Crushing a student's dream, aka when Mr. Feeney told Corey that he'll never be a baseball player and he didn't think through the assignment. Or not checking your student's work, aka when Corey and Sean brought the hard-hitting news report that got janitor Bud fired.
I'm going to go with not checking your student's work before putting it on public access television.
Yeah. The writing was on the wall after that assignment.
Yeah.
All right, Brett. What's worse? Keeping your child up late and they end up failing a test, or late for school because of the dentist. Winky blinky.
Wink, wink. I'm gonna go with keeping your kid up late.
Yep.
As principal, you have a certain amount of comp time, so.
And she is his dentist.
Yes.
All right. What's worse, Brett? Hustling younger teachers, or letting your students go crazy, aka when Feeney used his older age to trick both Turner and Williams to believe that he is not as athletic or as strong as he actually is, or literally when Turner just kind of allowed Corey and Sean to just do whatever they felt like and hope that things would work out.
I'm going to go with letting your students.
Because I had done to them
run
what they had
wild.
done to me.
If I did to them what they did to me, I'd done the same thing. Diagram that.
It's getting old, Hot Chalk. All right. What's worse, Brett? Lying to get rid of Sean for a weekend, a.k.a. when Sean's supposed to stay with the Matthewses because Turner's leaving for the weekend to go to a wedding. Or when Corey's grandma shows up and forgets all about Corey and leaves him sad. He makes muffins all day.
Ooh, tough one. They're both bad.
Yep.
I'm going to go with the deliberate lie, though.
Yep. Yeah, that's the hard part. Because Grandma is who she is, but Turner should have known better.
Yeah.
All right. Here's an interesting one for you, Brett. Last one of this first round. Throwing kids into detention for sometimes nothing, just at a whim. Or favoring Minkus. A.k.a. giving him A's when he doesn't really deserve it.
Detention for no reason or favoring...
Detention, Miss Matthews.
They're both bad, but I'm going to go with favoritism.
Yep. Good call. So then, Brett, what's worse? Him having favoritism for Minkus or parents not being around?
Absentee parents.
Yep. So then what's worse, Brett? Not checking your students' work or keeping your kid up late?
Not checking your students' work.
Yep. So then what's worse, Brett? Not checking your students' work or deliberately lying to get rid of Sean?
I favor honesty, so I'm going to go with the deliberate lie.
Yep. So then what's worse, Brett? Well, wow, these actually go really well together. Parents not being around or Turner deliberately trying to get rid of Sean for the weekend.
Tough, but absentee parents.
Yep.
For the win.
So to recap, Brett, we have in the Corey division lying about sleeping with Topanga. In Sean, we have Cherry Bomb Day. In Eric, we have driving without a license. And for the adults, it's just straight up parents not being around. Brett, give me an odds or even.
We'll go with odds this time.
Okay. How many fingers am I holding up?
3.
Okay. So, what's worse, Brett? No, I want this one shaved for last, hopefully. What's worse, Brett? Lying about sleeping with Topanga or driving without a license, lying about it?
That's tough. Now, granted, all these matchups are going to be tough, but...
Yep. So you got 3 more picks, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, on the one hand...
As much as I hate...
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean, I was just gonna try to see if I could help you through this, but if you've made up your mind, then go ahead and say it.
Well, as much as I hate to do anything rash, if I go with simply impact, lying about sleeping with Topanga impacts primarily one person, maybe 2.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas lying about a license has the potential to impact dozens.
So you're going with lying, or
I'm going with lying about a license and driving anyway.
Nice. Wow. Okay, I'm almost done. So please give me a few seconds. All right. Wow. Wow. So, Brett, who will they be competing against each other? Will it be absentee parents or Cherry Bomb Day?
going with absentee parents because that's what caused Cherry Bomb Day.
Fair. And of course, Brett, what's worse? Gosh, I did not expect this. Lying about having your license to take out a couple pretty girls, or absentee parents.
I'm going with absentee parents because absentee parents is what causes lying about your license and is what is at the root of pretty much any of these issues.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's when, whether it's Alan and Amy or Chet and Verna, when they're not around, and, also in the future, the Lawrences, when they're not around, when they're not participating and not paying attention to their kids, they tend to find other means to get the thrills, enjoyment, and the things that they are looking for. So... Mm-hmm. That's probably I agree with that. That's
the parents that are going to help their kids avoid stuff like this. Mm-hmm. Now, that's not to say good-looking people that having engaged parents is going to help you avoid all mistakes, but engaged parents are going to help you figure out ways to avoid a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, I agree. And there were times when Corey would mention something about what's going on, and we never saw their response. So how engaged were they? We'll never really know exactly.
Yep.
But
we did see a lot of in season 3, and we commented in season 2 how there were times that we wanted to see more of their action.
Yeah. Well, you and I are probably our two biggest conversation points for good parenting this season is Stormy Weathers, when Alan is very clear of you should not do these things, and you're going down a wrong path if you do this. And the last episode when, they make it very clear of, you've been sharing the same room with your brother. If you haven't figured out what the problem is, then that's a problem. So, I agree. Exactly. Absentee parenting is by far the worst thing that ever happens on this show.
Yep.
So, Brett, do you have any final thoughts? Anything you want to close this season out with?
Just some shout-outs to some of my favorite guest stars, some one-offs, some recurrings. Cal Kilbride, love the weatherman. Reginald Fairfield. Reginald
Fairfield.
Gordy. Kind of sad we'll never see Gordy again.
Yeah, it is sad.
Dr. Sorrell. Yeah, Dr. Sorrell, loved him for his 2 appearances. Wish we'd see more of him.
As principal of this school, I demand you tell me what's happening.
You're not principal, man.
I'm getting real tired of you saying
Dana
that.
Pruitt.
Yeah,
Dana
we will
Pruitt
see her again.
We'll see her one more time, but she was good when we saw her. Vader, always good when he shows up.
Woof, woof, woof.
Yes. It was good seeing Jedediah when he was played by this particular actor. I'll miss him being played by Peter.
Yep.
And, of course, Chet whenever he shows up. Love seeing Chet when he shows up, so I'm looking forward to seeing more Chet in Season 4.
He just brings the energy. Yeah,
he does.
So to all of the crew / cast who are on this season but don't return next season, we greatly appreciate your services and what you do for this show and for all the hard work you put into it and both big and small impact you made on these characters. We thank you from Dad's Meet World.
That's right. Thank you.
So,
no, if you hear this, if you listen to this, we thank you.
Yep. Hey, if there's
that's all
anyone
I've got.
ever who's been on Boy Meets World that want to come and talk to us, we are more than open to talking to you.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, no. I agree with all the things you said, Brett. And the other thing I mostly agree with is sometimes this season was a goobwa.
A goobwa.
Figured I'd pull up a quick dad joke for us, and then we can get ourselves out of here.
All right.
All right. This seems like a good one. Brett, why do fathers take extra pairs of socks when they go golfing?
In case they get a hole in one.
In case they get a hole in one.
Ah, yes.
Trying to think if there's
Classic.
another one that would be good. Oh, all right. This is not an actual question. It's just a statement. So, dear Math,
Okay.
grow up and solve your own problems.
I wish I could have gotten away with telling that one to Math when I
Yeah.
was in middle school.
That'd been nice. So, well, should we tell
Well,
them where they can
good-looking
find
people.
us?
I think we should. You can find us anywhere online that there's social media where you can find the handle at dadsmeetworld. That's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Yes, we're on the TikTok. And you can email us at dadsmeetworld@gmail.com. And you can leave us a positive review at Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts if they let you leave a review. We'd love to hear from you, and we will read reviews live on air. And yeah, and if you want some cool Dads Meet World swag, like the episode's gonna episode shirt on Steve the Skeleton behind me, or any just simple Dads Meet World stickers or any cool stuff like that, threadless.dadsmeetworld.com. No, it's dadsmeetworld.threadless.com. Either way, it's in the show notes.
Either way.
Yes.
Well, Brett.
Well,
it's been a
Tyler,
pleasure.
we're gonna take we're gonna take a couple of weeks off here and then get back into season 4, right?
Yep, we need a bit of a breather. And then don't you worry, we're hitting season 4 hard and heavy.
That's
So,
right. In that
Until
red
next time,
Mustang.
Brett.
I'll see you, good looking.
See you, good looking.
You know, how can I learn so much every week and still be so stupid?
Dads Meet World is a production of Headfirst Studios. Headfirst Studios, tell your story.